All right, good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing today? First and foremost, welcome to Our Time Is Now, a special talk show event. Let's give a huge round of applause and welcome everybody. This is a special talk show event is organized to celebrate International Women's Day together with Watsons. And I am very, very excited to be a part of this. Today, we are here to celebrate extraordinary achievement of exceptional women who have contributed extraordinary achievement to the industry. And under the theme of breaking barriers and empowering women. All right, get ready to be inspired as we dive into the journeys of remarkable women in their respective industries and fields, inspiring us all to pursue our dreams relentlessly. All right, so are we ready? All right, I'm Tivia. You can call me TV for short. Excited to be hosting this event. And I would like to humbly invite our representative from University of Malaya, Associate Professor Dr. Amir Siddiq Amir Nordin, Director, Community Engagement Center, CARES. Thank you so much for joining us, Professor. It's a pleasure. Let's give a huge round of applause for Professor, please. And our representative from Watson, we have Ms. Caryn Loh, is the Managing Director and Regional Exclusive Director at Watsons. Thank you so much for joining us, Caryn. Followed by Danny Ho, General Manager, Marketing and Customer Growth and Sustainability Champion. Thank you so much for joining us, Danny. All right. Just a few reminders before we get the event going, all right? Like I mentioned, there's photo booth outside. There's a backdrop. You can take as many photos and videos that you want. You can tag Watson on your Insta story, Facebook and all. Do not forget to take photos, all right? And there's also a health checkup that you can check out. A lot of booths outside that you can actually check out. And you can also pledge for yourself, right? Do not miss that. So please, after the event, do check out the booths outside, all right? And after the event, we also have light refreshments prepared by Dignity for Children as part of showing our support to Dignity of Children, all right? And with that, like y'all did the little shout out, right? Our time is now. Okay, can y'all do it with me one last round before we begin? Can we do it? All right, so this time when I say our time is, you say now, as loud as you can. All right, can we do that? All right, so on the count of 3, 2, 1, our time is now. Okay, after now, maybe you clap. Cheer a little bit, so it's not very quiet and all, so the excitement stays on, all right? So in the count of 3, 2, 1, our time is much better. Thank you very much. All right, so I'm going to be taking my seat. And we have 3 interesting segments for today's talk show. We have Girl Boss to begin with. All right, so without further ado, let me introduce our speakers for this first segment for Our Time Is Now. All right, so without further ado, we have the Managing Director at Watson Malaysia and Regional Exclusive Director at Watson International, recognized as the Executive of the Year for Retail at Malaysia Management Excellence Awards by the prestigious the Asian Business Review. Since 2016, she has led Watson Malaysia with a remarkable vision and dedication, reshaping the retail landscape through her innovative leadership. Trust me, she has led Watson Malaysia to be the #1 offline and online health and beauty retailer in Malaysia and #1 retail brand in Malaysia as recognized by Putra Brand Awards. We are definitely excited how she has done it all. Right, so without further ado, let's explore Caryn's journey and the significant contribution she has made to Watson. With a huge round of applause, please help me welcome our first speaker for today, Caryn Loh. All right. you want to see if the microphone is working?
Hi.
Hi, Caryn.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us. Nice having you on board.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
All right, so let's invite our next speaker under the segment of Girl Boss, right? We have Sonya Danita Charles. She is a freelance model, marketer, and the founder of Vitiligo Association Malaysia. And she uses her platform to challenge beauty norms, sharing her personal struggle, and advocating for inclusivity. All right, let's discover more about Sonya's journey. Without further ado, please give a huge round of applause and welcome Sonya Danita Charles. Hi, Sonya.
Hi.
Is the mic working?
Yes.
Yes, it does. So we have Caryn and Sonya to have a chat on our first segment, Girl Boss. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into our first question for Caryn, addressing to Caryn, how she has done it all right. We're going to ask her. Right. So my first question is, how do you balance your role as the first female managing director of Watsons Malaysia with your personal life as well? Because everybody go through this balancing personal life and the work life and all. So how do you do it, and what advice would you give to other women striving to excel in both areas?
Well, I mean, this is a very common question they ask because I'm married with 2 children and they are in their 20s, they are studying. And also at the same time, I work as managing director of Watsons. I still remember a couple of years back in 2016, I was also doing my part-time master degree, MBA, and I completed within 1.5 years. It was also the time that, I was being appointed as the first female to hold this position as a managing director of Watsons Malaysia. Yeah. It was remarkable.
Please give a huge round of applause.
So,
yes.
That moment I was thinking that how am I going to balance it, because I have to learn a lot of new things and I have to manage a group of peers, right? Previously my peers, and now they have to report to me. So in that sense that, I work really hard, right? Especially for the first 6 months, right, and understand the business really from the department, from trading department, because my background coming is from the purchasing department, bringing all the products for Watsons. And now I have to learn finance, I have to learn HR, I have to learn marketing, and so on. So that moment I work until midnight, still remember until 11 p.m. for the first 6 months, until I know everything, right? Then I've eventually, I began to work really closely with the team and cast my vision and strategy and work hard on that. But that moment after that, right, you were thinking that what will be the vision? How am I going to bring Watsons to the next level? Because, how can we beat the competition? Because at that moment we were number 2. How can we be number 1? So we put a lot of strategic plan in place, but very importantly that, strategic plan alone is not enough. But you have to ensure execution. Execution is 100 times more important than your strategic plan. So we ensure that to put in place. But back to my life, how am I going to balance it? Because with the huge business size and with a couple of thousands of employees under you, and they depend on you. So what I did was, until now, I'm also doing the same. There are 4 quadrants in my life. 4 quadrants. You split it 4, right? The 4 quadrant means that overall you have 100%. One of the quadrant is for yourself. Time for yourself, 25%. One quadrant is for your career, for your work. And one quadrant is for your family and your friends. And another quadrant is for community. So if you put that in place, right, you know very much that sometimes that you probably overspace in certain quadrant. So if you know that you overspace in certain quadrant, then you have to bring it back. So that's where you balance your time. So you keep on reminding yourself that sometimes, a lot of times that I might overwork. But when I remind myself of the 4 quadrants of my life, then I will be quite well balanced. And also it's important for you to receive feedback from your friends, from your loved ones. So am I overworked, very much overworked? Am I balanced or not balanced in that sense?
Am I completing the 4 quadrants?
That's right. So that's how it's very important for us, to balance our life and at the same time to make our life and our loved ones better in a sense. Yeah.
I understand. I think I like how you said that the 4 quadrants, how you must shed some light into each to have a balanced life and all. And I love how, as you appointed as the first woman managing director, you made sure you want to bring from number 2 to number 1. So I really aspire that. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, so we'll come back to Caryn. Moving on to Sonya, right? My first question to you is that, can you please share a recent success story from your career as a fashion model that particularly stands out to you, and what lessons or insights have you gained from this experience?
So I think I'll start with my lessons and insights. So when I first started modeling, imagine someone like me going into the modeling industry, and at that time you never saw people like me in the beauty industry, right? You would see what the magazines would show you, what media would show you. So when I first started, it was a very difficult journey, trying to tap into that industry, trying to change the narrative surrounding beauty and individuality and what it means to be beautiful, right? So what I've learned over the years is the importance of perseverance and being confident. You have to believe in yourself enough to understand and know that you are your own biggest critic. It's you against you. Despite what society throws at you, what people tell you, it is ultimately how you look at yourself in the mirror that matters most. It's how you think of yourself. It's the way you treat yourself, how you care for yourself. So what I've learned is, regardless of all the challenges that you are faced with, you just have to be confident and continue to do everything that you can in order to pursue your goals and ambitions. And that leads up to, one of my, I'd like to say I've been very blessed and fortunate to have a lot of success stories, because I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of like-minded people who believe in my cause and what I'm trying to achieve. But one of the many, I would say, is actually landing a cover of a very well-known magazine. So last year, I was featured on the cover of the Tatler magazine, which is...
Yeah, let's give a huge round of applause for being on the Tatler magazine, Sonya.
Thank you. And, it's an international magazine, so it was a really big thing for me, because it just reminded me that regardless of how we all look like, regardless of what color our skin is, what size our bodies are, we are beautiful in our own individual ways, and that is something we should embrace and acknowledge, and essentially just, always learn to show yourself a lot of love and kindness, and remind yourself that you are more than capable of achieving your goals and dreams as long as you work hard enough for it.
I love the word that she used, perseverance. I think you go and get it what you want for yourself.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I think that's what you mean, right? Thank you for sharing, Sonya. I think moving on to Caryn, right? As a first woman managing director in Watsons and all, you have led beautifully, successfully, and there's a lot of awards that you have gained for Watsons, I must say. And can you describe the work environment for women at Watsons? Because, including any specific programs or support system in place to help them grow professionally. Because whatever you are experiencing, whatever you are growing and achieving success and all, we would happy to have another woman behind you following your footsteps as well, right? So in that perspective, so is there any specific programs or support system in place to help them grow professionally?
Well, I would say I think the team, Watsons team, have done a fantastic job. We have a lot of women in Watsons, right? About 80% workforce, they're women in Watsons. And more than 50% of them are Gen Z. Right? Fantastic, right? We have a lot of young people.
How many Januaries do we have here? I think pretty much everyone, I think, except for the first two rows and the stage. Everybody is Gen Z. All right, please go ahead.
Because, with more than 80% of women, I would say it's been fantastic working with them. What we have done is very, very important, effective is on-job training. We do have on-job training in place, and we give, the team exposure, right? We have a lot of CSR program, we have a lot of events, right? Like Get Active events, we have events with BCWA, we have events K-Beauty events upcoming. There's so many events that are put in place, not only for our staff, right, but also for our customers, our members, right? And a lot of times that we want to give exposure to the team that where we actually encourage different level of members in the organization to also speak out, to present the project papers.
To voice out.
Yes, to voice out. Yeah. So, and also we give exposure for them for training, even external training, right, in Hong Kong or in other markets as well. So these are the things that we put in place in our organization to encourage people to, to upgrade themselves, right, to also always have, we always say that we must have a growth mindset,
Yep.
right? If you don't have a growth mindset, it's really very difficult, and it's very important, the agility. Right? I find that not only women in the Watson's organization, the team, they're super agile. Yeah, so that makes our team unique, and that makes Watson's team, right, unbeatable. Thank you.
I can see that you're very proud of your own team, Caryn. Yeah, we are all. Watson team deserve a huge round of applause, please. I don't want to interrupt you all. All right, so moving on to Sonya, right, I just wanted to touch a little bit about Vitiligo Association. Can you elaborate on the mission and activities of the Vitiligo Association Malaysia, and how is your personal journey with Vitiligo inspired you to establish this organization? Probably can touch a little bit on that.
All right, thank you. So I've had my vitiligo since I was 8 years old, and when I was growing up, I never saw anyone else who looked like me, which made it even more difficult because I could never feel a sense of relatability to, oh my God,
To
I'm saying-
everyone, to every other woman, right?
Yeah.
I understand.
I did not feel like I could relate to someone else who looked like me, right? And for the longest time, I struggled a lot, especially in terms of the questions and assumptions that people would make about my skin condition. So I would often have a lot of people come up to me and have the most ridiculous ideas about what had happened to me. And obviously, when I was younger, it used to affect me a lot because I used to ask my parents, like, why is this uncle and auntie asking me if I'm an acid burn victim, or if my parents threw hot oil on me. I once had someone ask me that, and I just looked at them like,
Just say yes, yes.
I was like, why would my parents do that? No, I have loving parents, But so basically, because I went through all this when I was younger, and in fact, I still experience such questions even now at this age. At one point, I realized that Malaysia has been around for so long, and although people with vitiligo is only 1% of the world's population, so there's really not a whole lot of us out there, I realized that nobody in Malaysia has started something like this in order to create awareness and to educate people about what vitiligo is. So my main idea was that, okay, people are curious, and the only way to answer their questions is to create more awareness and to educate them, because education is very important, right? So I founded the Vitiligo Association Malaysia, and I scouted through the whole of Malaysia to find other people who have vitiligo as well, and I found them from all across Malaysia. And I realized that I wanted to use my community as a platform to educate on vitiligo and create awareness and to educate people, but also to create a safe space for basically anybody and everybody where they can come and feel like, they belong and they are not going to be judged based on how they look or what size they are or what color their skin is, but rather to create an inclusive and diverse environment for all. So it's not only for people who have vitiligo, but rather it's a support group for everybody.
It's an awareness, I would say.
Yes, correct.
I think for me, as someone who to know that there's a 1% of the population, and to know that people are not aware of it, I think it's generally, it happens. It's
Correct.
normal.
Correct.
I think your effort, your initiative into creating the awareness is very vital. Thank you for doing that as a representative.
Thank you.
All right, anything you want to add on?
No, I think that's good.
All right. So moving on to our to wrap our final question to each of you, right? Speaking about Watson being they are focused towards health and beauty mostly, right? And particularly for female consumers in Malaysia, could you explain how the company promotes wellness and self-confidence among its target audience, and any recent initiatives maybe aimed at empowering a woman in that area?
Well, I think Watsons is known as the #1 health and beauty stores in Malaysia. That we have many variety ranges of products in Watsons, that from skincare to cosmetics, we have personal care from top to toe, right?
Exactly.
And
I have to agree with that.
That's right. And healthcare and wellness, I think very important that not only that we look at ourselves, that inside out beauty will be important. So we do have solution for our customers, right, and our members as well. So we do have a lot of program put in place. The team has done a fantastic job, right? Like I say that we are educated. We have run programs with our business partner as well, right? Lately that we have a Agania event. We also have the our Get Active is coming along. Very famous in making sure that you stay healthy at all times, right? And also, like I said that we do have our Care Beauty event, really big, and we do have a health and beauty event. We keep on each month that we keep our customers looking forward to what they can expect from Watsons. Then besides that you can see with Watsons now, if you walk into Watsons, right, then you can see a lot of trendy products, in-trend products, that we want to bring differentiation to our customers, that to give excitement to our customers. Very importantly that in our business, that in retail and or our lives, that we always need to reflect. What can we do better each day, right? Each time. Even as we step into our workplace, we always ask ourselves, what can we innovate? Innovation is not something that we think that, wow, I need to create something, a big thing, digital thing. But actually, innovation is kind of every day that what you can improve, right, in your workplace, right, in your personal life. That actually relates to our customers, that we want our customers, or the women, to know that Watsons actually can help you to improve their lives each day.
That's very nicely put it. Thank you, Caryn. All right, to conclude, one last question for Sonya. I think as someone who overcame your own challenges and confidence related to self-esteem and all, what advice or tips would you offer to individuals who are struggling to maintain faith in themselves? People sometimes only can have so much on faith in themselves. And how do we cultivate confidence in that sense, especially in the face of societal pressure and beauty standards?
All right, thank you. So like I mentioned earlier, perseverance is key, and also confidence is not built overnight. It is an constant effort that you have to make, and you have to be willing to invest in yourself. You cannot say that, you hope you're confident, but then don't make any effort towards achieving that, right? And I would say in order to reach that state of mind, it is also very important for you to prioritize yourself. So, be very mindful about your thoughts and your daily practices, how you look at yourself, how you talk to yourself. You have to constantly remind yourself that it is important to be positive. Of course, you cannot be positive all the time. Trust me, even I'm not positive all the time. But what I like to do personally is when I catch myself in a negative thought, I take my time to understand why I am feeling such a way and how I can overcome that so that I no longer feel that way again. So ideally, my advice would be to, just be yourself, learn to love yourself better, learn to understand yourself, and be willing to do anything and everything you can to invest in yourself, because the best investment you can make is not in businesses, in money, or whatsoever. It's you are your best investment, because if you utilize that to your fullest potential, there is absolutely nothing that you cannot achieve.
All right, let's give a huge round of applause for both Sonya and Caryn for their valuable insights. If you like to ask questions later, we will have a separate Q&A session, all right? So you can ask your questions, you can jot down your questions, okay? Later you can ask all the 6 speakers, all right? So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a huge round of applause for Caryn Loh and Sonya Danita Charles. Thank you so much for joining us.